my name is Ashlyn and I'm doing my experiment on what's the effect of salt on ice. And the title of my board is When Salt Attacks. And I learned in this experiment that the more salt that you add to the ice, the faster it melts. And my data chart, it shows that 2 teaspoons of ice, it took 66 minutes. And then I used 1 teaspoon of ice and it took 84. Then no salt added took 80 minutes. And so then that proves that the more salt that you add to the ice, the faster it melts. And then the materials I needed was cubed ice, salt, a tray or plate, a data chart, or a measuring device. And the reason I've started this project is because I've always wondered why they put salt on the roads when it was snowing or icing. And the purpose, my abstract is the purpose of the experiment is to learn if adding salt is to ice changes the time it takes for ice to melt. And then I had 3 experiments: no salt added, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1 teaspoon. And I had a stopwatch, and I would take the ice and pour the salt on the ice, and then I would start the timer and see how long it took for the salt to melt. And my variables was the independent variable is the salt, the dependent variable is the ice cube, and the controlled variable is that the temperature always stays the same. And my hypothesis was correct, and I said that if salt is applied in different amounts to the ice, then the rate of which it melts will vary because the salt breaks down the ice and melts it. And my first experiment was to get 4 cubed ice, pieces of ice, and then stack them neatly on a tray or plate, get 1 teaspoon of salt, pour 1 teaspoon of salt on the ice, and then wait for changes and record the data. And then I done the same thing with the second experiment, except for I added more salt. I added 2 teaspoons of salt, and then for my third I added no salt. And right here, 1 teaspoon took longer than 80 minutes, and I thought that 1 teaspoon would melt faster than none, but part of my hypothesis was right, and part of it was wrong. And so then my conclusion is I learned that the salt helps the ice break down and melt. I also learned that the salt is not only the thing that breaks down the ice and melts it. Sugar also melts ice. Also, when the salt is in the process of melting, the salt goes straight through the ice and then cracks it, and it gets really cold. Then it looks like tunnels through the ice because the salt goes straight through the ice and it cracks, and it looks like the salt made like tunnels through the ice. And then my question was that I made a question during my experiment if the salt would like chip or like fall apart, and it did on a certain amount of time. The 1 teaspoon of ice took half of my experiment and fell over. And then my bibliography is Johnson Wade D, and it was published in 1999, and the title of the paragraph that I got it from was what is the effect of salt on ice melting. And then I got more information from Ann Himmelstein, and the title of that one was When Salt Melts, and that's where I got most of my information, and that is all.
Okay, is there anything you would do differently if you did this project again?
Yes, I would pay more close attention to like if the salt, I would probably do it again and see if the salt melts quicker or slower compared to the non-ice, because these two are the non-ice, the two that have no salt on them, and this one's the 1 teaspoon, and these over here are the 2 teaspoons. And I would probably pay more attention to what happens when the salt melts the ice, and because it might be that the salt melts the ice faster than 1 teaspoon of no salt added.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No.
Okay, thank you.